Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Mic Check Tech 2 podcast brought to you by the Inside Edge Network. For those of you who think I look a little familiar, maybe not recognize me, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am the DAVID, the real Ruiz, and I don't know which side he is on for you guys, but to my right is my co-host, everyone's favorite season, Autumn. What's the matter? Why are you laughing already?
You were so loud that it scared me.
You know how I do these intros.
I literally did that. I
You
literally
know how
jumped.
I asked you before we even started, are you ready for my intros?
I said yes, but I still am gonna jump. Like
Oh
I
my
jump at everything.
gosh. Come on. This is the usual. We've been here before.
Yes, we have been here before.
I'm really excited to start the show on the Inside Edge Network, bringing our talents to the new platform. You are already here before. How you feeling about today's show and what our show has to bring for our new viewers here on the Inside Edge?
Well, they're gonna get to know us very well. As people know, we appeared on a show on Wednesday to promote, but also, David, we need to talk about one other thing. That is Alley Rose Fragrances. Alley Rose Fragrances is the network sponsor. Use the code Inside Edge 20 to get 20% off your order. But no, I'm excited for people to see us. If you got a little taste of us on Wednesday night with Chad and Eli, I think you're gonna like this show. I think you're gonna like this show. Like I said, it's a little bit more unhinged than Jersey Chasers. We go back and forth a lot more. Me and David see each other a lot more than me and Christy, even though me and Christy talk probably more than me and David.
Well, that's because you don't respond. Don't lie to these people. I text you all the time. You just don't respond.
And I told you I don't like texting.
I literally have you. I call you all the time. I have to schedule an appointment for a phone call with Autumn.
Talking on the phone, and he knows this.
No. I schedule appointments to talk on the phone with Autumn.
He knows how much I hate talking on the phone.
I have to text her brother to make sure everything's okay, because at least one of them texts me back or calls me back.
Why do you want to hear from him? He sucks.
Oh no, don't talk about him like that. Autumn's just jealous that after I met her brother, it was like love at first sight. Him and I have been close ever since.
Hey, the fact that hey, you two want to be gay for each other, that's y'all. That's not on me. All right.
Look, I got more to say about that, but we're gonna leave that alone. I'll text him later and let him know. We want to talk. So we're gonna start off the show today. We're gonna talk a little bit about the NFL. And we're going to talk about one thing I want to talk about is the Cleveland Browns made a trade for Tytus Howard for a 5th round pick. How do you feel about the trade, Autumn? Do you think it was a good trade for the Browns? Do you feel a little annoyed like I do that we keep building the Houston Texans for some reason? I don't know. How do you feel? How do you grade this trade with the Browns?
I grade it as probably like a B. You get a pretty serviceable offensive lineman who's healthy. That's what you need, a healthy offensive lineman. You get him on a new contract, so you know he's going to be here for a couple years. You know it's not like a last year, like, oh, maybe he's playing for a new contract. No, you get him here, you sign him to an extension, so you don't even have to worry about going into a training camp, maybe have a guy with a holdout. I think it's a good move. I don't understand what's the problem. I know people don't like the Texans. I think the Texans have built a decent squad. They're always in the playoffs. They always are gonna lose in that wild card round or division round. But who knows?
Look,
who knows? You haven't even seen them play a snap.
I don't have a problem.
Pickup. They didn't have to give up anything. They gave up a 5th rounder.
A 5th rounder. I don't have a problem with the Texans. I just don't understand why no other team wants to make a deal with the Cleveland Browns. It's the Texans year after year after year. And it's getting stale to me. But I do like Tytus Howard. He hasn't given up a sack since 2024, which is a big deal, especially with a young quarterback like Shedeur. We are losing Wyatt Teller, so we'll see how the Browns' offensive line adjust. Hopefully through the draft or other pickups in free agency, we can build on that offensive line. I think Andrew Berry's going to take a little bit out of the Bears playbook over the last season where he constructs the offensive line. He tries to make big moves there. We do need wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any wide receivers you want to see the Browns go after in free agency? Are there any wide receivers you think would even come here? There's only a handful that are available.
Any of them that are free agents, I don't want here because number one, you got one coming off of a knee injury in Tyreek Hill, and you got a PR disaster in Stephon Diggs, and it's just right now. I will say you just need to find your wide receivers, maybe through the draft, maybe through a couple trades, maybe look around. We know their wide receiver core has been abysmal for the last few seasons, and I'm not really loving this free agent market. Yeah, the Browns, they have a lot to work with, but I think going into this coming season, I mean, we're in the off season. I'm talking about the draft coming up in less than a month, probably now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going okay. Like I'm look, I've already stated this. I think that the combine and the draft and the big hoopla and the big deal around it is just like whatever. Just get me to the season and then we'll see what's going on. But we like honestly right now, like I wouldn't make too much of what's going on with the Browns.
There's other wide receivers available, which they aren't really game changers. People like Mike Evans aren't going to come here. There is the wide receiver from the Colts, Alec Pierce. He could we can possibly make a deal with him, but again, the Browns wide receiver gig isn't a gig that these wide receivers want to come in. Like maybe like people like Alec Pierce that think they may have the opportunity to be the number one. But if the Browns draft someone like Tate from Ohio State, which I hope he's available when we get there. They met with him at the combine, and from what I've read, all sources are leading to him. But it's really confusing. Like, we'll bring up Tyreek Hill, for instance. We'll move away from the Browns a little bit. Do you think Tyreek Hill is going to go home to Kansas City?
Yes, because that's really the only team that makes sense to have him, and that's probably the only team that will willingly take him. He's not really expensive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of on the tail end of his career. He's not the cheetah. He's not what he once was. He also is a PR disaster, just as much as Stephon Diggs is. And I think for him,
he only got pulled over once.
He's a PR disaster, like I said. So, as much as I think that Kansas City doesn't want to bring him back, I think for them and their offense, they need a Tyreek Hill type. Like that
makes sense.
They need it.
I really like him back at Kansas City, honestly, because he doesn't have to be the number one there. He can be the number two. And if Xavier Worthy comes back and is healthy, he could possibly be the number 3 option, which is actually scary. And I know a lot of people are counting the Chiefs out, but they have the number 9 pick. I think they're going to get Love out of Notre Dame. I think that's their move if he's available. They haven't had a stud running back as long as I can remember. It's been a long time. You can say Kareem
probably
Hunt,
since Kareem Hunt
in his early stages.
Yeah,
when he was the rushing leader for them. But other than that, people are forgetting who the Kansas City Chiefs are. I know Travis Kelce is at the back end. I know that. But he's doing a lot of dirty work. Like, the tight end position isn't a wide receiver position. And I feel like a lot of people their opinion has been skewed because they're so used to him having these 100-yard games, him being the number 1 receiving option, where they're not looking at, he's throwing tantrums on the sideline. That's one thing, but he's making his blocks. He's going down the field. He's blocking on the run and for the wide receivers. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, well, I think the thing with Travis Kelsey is he could have been just a tight end. He was lauded at one point as probably the second best or the best tight end, probably after Gronk. Him and Gronk are like one and two. And I think Gronk, especially after this last couple seasons, has kind of cemented himself as the
Mhm.
greatest tight end. But I think with the trade of Tyreek Hill and the fact that Travis kind of had to step in to that Tyreek Hill number one target
Mhm.
type of role is why people treat him as he's the wide receiver because he had to take over that position from Tyreek Hill. Because when Tyreek Hill was there, you didn't really question. You knew that's who he was going to. You knew that Mahomes and him had a great connection. But then when you trade him, now you have to bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. You have to try DeAndre Hunter. You have to try DeAndre Hopkins. You have to try all these different things, and his most reliable wide receiver or pass catcher was Travis Kelsey. So I think if you bring in a Tyreek Hill, which I can't even believe I'm just saying that, yes, that relieves some pressure on Travis Kelsey. That kind of relieves the pressure on of like maybe the offense is a little bit more reliable. We don't know what's really going to happen with Kansas City because Patrick Holmes tore his ACL at the end of last season. So I know everybody's like, well, he's going to have all of this offseason to recover, but I don't expect him to come back right at the beginning of the season. ACL injuries are really, really hard to recover from, especially in sports, especially in football. You got to take about a year off. So if he's the quarterback uh by September, I don't know. I don't know.
Even if he doesn't start the season, I mean, I don't understand. Everyone counts out the Chiefs when they were still on the cuffs of the playoffs towards the end of the season. They were still right there, and with a healthy team, I think Patrick Mahomes at 50% is still better than 85% of the quarterbacks in the league.
Yes, I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes is not a great quarterback, but you have to understand. Think about this. We're both the same age as Patrick Mahomes, right? We're all 31. Okay. Think about your
Don't
31-year-old
don't
self,
don't rub that
my
in my face.
31-year-old self. As you get older, your bones, it takes a little bit longer to heal. You hurt a little bit more. You hurt a little bit often. And now he has a major injury. I'm not saying that him at 50% is just going to be awful and he's going to fall off and everything's going to be bad. I'm just saying like it's going to not be the same. And I said this on a past episode. I think Travis Kelsey, to save his legacy, needs to probably retire before the season.
I
I
disagree
told you
with that.
this.
No, I know,
I
and
think so.
no, I completely disagree with that. I completely. Everyone thinks he tarnished his legacy, and I don't think that's the case. Not even a little bit. It doesn't matter if he plays for 4 more years. His legacy will stay the same. He's a multiple Super Bowl champion. He's one of the best tight ends of all time.
Like I said, he was in the conversation to be number one, and over the last two seasons, it's made it very clear that he is number two, and some people might put him at three.
Behind who?
Tony Gonzalez, a Hall of Famer.
Mm. Travis Kelsey's a future Hall of Famer. He could be inducted
We
in the Hall of Fame
know.
right away. He's a future Hall of Famer, and I don't think Tony Gonzalez is better than Travis Kelsey. I do not. I think even next season, if the wide receiver core in Kansas City is healthy, and depending on what Rashee Rice's availability is going into the season, because we still don't know that. That's one of the main variables. If the team is a whole and they draft that star stud running back that they've never had in their entire Super Bowl dynasty run, we're going to see the same things we've seen from the Kansas City Chiefs year on and year out. I'm even brave enough to say the Kansas City Chiefs will win the Super Bowl next year.
I want somebody to clip that. I need somebody
Clip
to
it.
desperately
Clip
clip
it.
that.
Clip it. We'll
Double
clip
A.
it.
I know you're
Clip
listening.
it.
Please clip that. And then when it doesn't happen, I need it to play on a loop.
No, and then when it does happen, I can be.
And when it doesn't happen,
I can tell you, I told you so. Look, a lot of people say I hate to say I told you so.
If you're listening to that, I need everybody to play that on loop. In fact, AA, I know you're listening. Please clip that for social media and put that out. That is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
When Travis Kelce wins Super Bowl MVP, you'll be sitting there in your sorrows. You'll be sitting there in your sorrows. Taylor Swift comes down from the stairs. She comes down from her suite. They hold the trophy together. They kiss. It's going to be a Hallmark moment.
I need y'all to clip this because this man is insane.
I'm not.
Y'all will never. He calls me insane for my takes. He's insane. He's crazy.
How is that crazy? What have they done?
Nuts.
What have they done to show you that they're incapable of winning the Super Bowl?
They're old as hell.
They're not that 31 isn't that old. You have quarterbacks playing at 40.
Travis Kelce is about to be 37. He is closer to 40 than he is 30.
Their wide receiving core is super young. Xavier Worthy, young. Rashee Rice, young.
David, don't piss me off right now.
No, but it doesn't make sense. You're saying they're old. You're naming one player that's still in his prime, and Patrick Mahomes calling him old, and said with sports science today, he's not going to come back the same. Then your beef with Travis Kelce is insane.
I don't have beef with Travis Kelce. I'm telling you the real of what's happening. We're talking about this. This is not even. Oh my god. See, this is what I'm talking about. He makes my blood pressure high, y'all. No, I need to not have my blood pressure high. I got no.
You're not gonna call someone the same age as me old. Not right now. Maybe in a couple of years.
I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes is old. I said he's 31. When you're 31, it's different than when you're 27. Don't piss me off.
Look, you're choking because it's nonsense.
Don't piss me off.
You're choking because it's nonsense. All right, we'll move on from the Kansas City Chiefs. Clip that when they win the Super Bowl. I'm going to hand deliver the audio fire.
For when I'm gonna
hand deliver it to your house.
Clip that shit when it doesn't happen. I'm begging y'all.
So you know the old movies when they have like a boom box and they're playing something outside the girl's house? That's gonna be me to you with that clip. Me with that clip of me telling you the Kansas City Chiefs are gonna win the Super Bowl.
I need y'all to know this man is insane.
I'm not insane. Look, we're going to move on because obviously you're in denial, but we'll move on a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about another quarterback that's a free agent. We have no idea where he's going to go. Well, he's not officially a free agent yet. The Cardinals announced that they were going to release Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
What teams do you see that can absolutely use the value of Kyler Murray? Or do you find any value in Kyler Murray?
I think he needs to go back to playing baseball. I'm dead serious.
I mean, Oakland A's still hold his 9th overall pick. They still own the rights. But the thing is, he's earning $45 million a year playing football, and the entire payroll of the Oakland A's is like $46 million. Do you really think he's going to take that jump?
I think you can go back to baseball. I think he needs to go back to baseball. I think it was, 2-3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
His reputation is so bad. And I think any team that picks him up, everybody's going to question, why are you picking him up when we know he doesn't have a great work ethic? We know he doesn't. We know he spent his time playing video games and not giving a shit about the playbook. So if you're a team that's like, ooh, I want to pick up Kyler Murray, it's like, why would you do that? You know he's not going to work hard for it. And you know his time in Arizona could have been much better. He had 3-4 coaches. One of the coaches he genuinely didn't like because he was Cliff Kingsbury being obsessed with him is hilarious, but also kind of scary. But we saw him in the NFL, and we saw that he had all the potential coming out, and he had a couple good years there. He had that one time where he was in the conversation for MVP, and Arizona was undefeated, and then they couldn't get it done. So if I'm an NFL team, maybe I hire him as a backup, but I think go back to baseball.
He's not going to make any money in baseball. Like, let's be real. Even though, look, real quick, fantasy pro tip: if he does stay in football and you have Kyler Murray on your fantasy team, if a new Call of Duty comes out, bench him that week because he will not perform.
No, he's not going to perform at all.
I can see him going to like the Minnesota Vikings. I think that makes sense.
Well, we know the Vikings need a quarterback. We know after JJ McCarthy, they need a quarterback.
Who knows? We could see him on the Raiders, where quarterbacks go to die. They just released Geno Smith, or just announced they were going to release Geno Smith. No? What about the Miami Dolphins? Do they believe in Tua? Probably not.
No, Tua's not, and they're not going to release Tua for another couple seasons because of his contract situation. Honestly, he's one of those things. He's one of those people where it's like, okay, where could I see him? I could see him here, and here, maybe here, and here. But at the same time, it's like he's not going to be reliable. He's not going to be what you need him to be. So if you want to hire him as a backup, absolutely hire him as a backup.
Do you see this comment on him? Fantasy advice from someone who barely performed in fantasy. Interesting. Coming from the person that won the damn league. That is insane. I am your champion. You respect me. You hold my chalice after I sip it. Okay?
You're a ridiculous human. But no, Kyler Murray is, I don't know where he's going to go. Geno Smith's going to be fine. He had an MVP caliber season. He won comeback player of the year. We know that what happened to him wasn't even his fault. He was dealing with Chip Kelly as his coach. It's that weird time of the year where everybody's getting released that you're like, wow, I can't believe this person is getting released.
Is Geno really going to be fine though? If you look at they released him and the team he left won a Super Bowl with someone else. So a lot of things with Geno was it the system? Was he only producing because of the system? Because it seems like it.
Well, yeah. Well, the system he had was perfectly fine. And then he goes to the Raiders and his coach is Chip Kelly, whom I've never actually seen a coach. When I say if you just look up Chip Kelly players on TikTok, the amount of NFL players that have come out and said that Chip Kelly was the worst head coach they ever had and they would never respect him or play for him. It's one of those things where it's like, I would take that as a wash year. I have no respect for Chip Kelly. So
I don't think so. I agree with you with Chip Kelly, but I don't think Geno is.
I think Geno proved himself.
I don't think he's a starter. Yeah. I don't think he's a starter.
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that he should be a starter. We've seen Geno Smith for the last 10, 11 years. We know he's not good enough to be a starter. But I'm saying, like, in the right system, yeah, he can be successful.
Would you want to see Geno Smith or Kyler Murray on the Cleveland Browns?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Neither one.
You wouldn't take Kyler Murray on the Browns?
Hell no.
Name a better quarterback on the Cleveland Browns. Name a better quarterback on the Cleveland Browns than Kyler Murray.
I'm just going to tell you right now, no. Because and it's not because of talent reason. It's literally Raul, man. Come on. Raul, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Again?
Look, again. I hope so. That'll make for good TV because we're going to be crap all next season.
I'm going to just say this. I think the Browns need to just take a season, get better, not try to pick up anybody flashy, not trying to make any headlines. I know it's the Browns are going to do something stupid anyway, but just keep it pushing. Don't even attempt to do it. Keep it moving. Hell, I'd rather than bring back Jacoby Brissett. He was pretty damn good.
Good? Jacoby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really not. I'd rather have Jameis Winston because at least it'd be entertaining when he plays. Jacoby can't even move in the pocket. That man is old and broken. What? What's wrong with you? You're not eating any W's this way?
Despise Jameis Winston. You know this. I do not like that man. I think he needs to go away. I do not like that man for so many reasons. He's just a red flag of a human being. But
I read a take on Jameis Winston where
Raul.
there should be a clause where in the playoffs, if any quarterback goes down, that team can sign Jameis Winston for one game. That'd be the most entertaining game. He's going to give you 3 picks, but he's going to throw for 500 yards. They might win, they might lose, but we're going to have some damn good, entertaining football with him on the field.
I need that man away from any football team that I want to root for.
Gosh, so you rather root for Brissett than Winston?
Absolutely. I liked Jacoby Brissett when he was here.
What did he
did a pretty damn good job.
All he did was piss me off, just like every Browns quarterback.
I was about to say, I'm like, every Browns quarterback pisses everybody off at a certain point. Look, hey, it's the Browns. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. What am I complaining for?
Do you think they'll sign someone like Juwan Jennings?
No, I think the Browns are gonna go more towards the veteran aspect. I hope they release Watson soon. I don't need to see that man anywhere near a football field. He is so awful, awful. But
you're talking about their starting quarterback.
Don't piss me off. Don't piss me.
Look, there's a quarterback competition. That's all I'm saying. And we damn sure know it's not Dylan Gabriel. And we have Shedeur Sanders and we have Deshaun Watson.
Don't piss me off.
It's a flip of the coin. He may have been unbanned from some massage parlors in Cleveland, and they may be able to rub out some kinks where he can light up the field again.
Piss me off.
What's the problem?
If there is a quarterback outside of Jameis Winston I despise more, it's Deshaun Watson. He pisses me off to no end. His contract situation pisses me off to no end.
Well, they just restructured his contract.
Great. Release his ass.
They turned like $42 million into a bonus, and they released a bunch of cap for us.
Release his ass. I'm done with him.
All right. The last NFL player I want to bring up before we move on is another Oakland Raider, and that's Max Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
There's been drama between him and the Oakland Raiders for years.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see Max Crosby? Oh, hold on. Does he know the history?
Oh,
Does he
don't do this.
know the history?
Please don't do this.
Of my man, Aaron Hernandez?
Please don't do this.
We're going to have to show you some clips. We actually got some commercials taken off air of the Lake Erie Captains because of our takes on Aaron Hernandez here. Also,
your takes. Don't associate me with me. Your takes on Aaron Hernandez.
I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak preview at our future fantasy draft autumn. I will be wearing an Aaron Hernandez jersey because I killed all of you last season.
This is so bad.
Every single one of you.
Double A, I just want you to know that I have nothing to do with this man and his comments. I'm telling you, he's insane.
I'm not insane. It was between Aaron Hernandez or our boy, the glove don't fit. But
oh God, please stop.
Since we had history with Aaron, I figured he was the right man for the job.
I need you
and
to
the right jersey for the job.
OJ Simpson in a jersey is absolutely insane. Too. Aaron Hernandez already crazy, but OJ Simpson contemplating is.
It was one. It was one or the other.
You're sick in the head.
It's not my fault that you guys can take me down. It's not my fault.
Sick in the head. Max Crosby. he's a talented individual. He'll land somewhere. I keep saying Oakland, but they're the Las Vegas Raiders. Literally where careers go to die. Like I think I talked about him early. DeAndre Hopkins literally at one point said that Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing him hospital balls because he's trying to hurt him. Max Crosby is probably the best thing about their team. Yeah, Like that's all I really have to say about the Raiders. They're really like they're kind of there for me. They're not really like I don't really think about them.
I can see I can see him going to like the Bengals, honestly, if they have the money.
See them going a couple places.
Yeah, they're losing Hendrickson. So that to me that makes a lot of sense. But we're gonna move on a little bit from the NFL. We talked a lot about it. Last week we got to see Elimination Chamber move on to some WWE.
Mm-hmm.
We had some big things happen. We had some new talent arrive to the roster that got zero pop, but we'll talk about that a little later. So let's start with the Women's Elimination Chamber. We had Rhea Ripley winning it all. Did you see Rhea winning the chamber?
I saw clips of it. I mean,
Did you
I'm glad.
think she was going to win?
Yeah, honestly, it was between her and Tiffany Stratton. Like WWE is very transparent on who they want to push, especially if you've taken a hiatus. Rhea took a hiatus. I think it was either late last year. Yeah, it was late last year. So they felt as though that she probably was a great asset and they need to sell some tickets to WrestleMania. So why not put two of the strongest women in your company up against each other? I mean, you got Bianca Belair, who is still dealing with a severe hand injury, and she posted a video of it. You have Naomi, who is currently pregnant, and she probably won't be in the ring for a while too. So it makes sense to pick a Rhea Ripley. I mean, even though you have Bailey on your roster and you refuse to do anything with her, you somehow keep pushing a lot of other people that's like, okay, I'm bored. But no, I don't mind. I actually think Rhea is a great wrestler. So
Yeah, I think they had to push her. I think SmackDown needed some superstar help.
mm-hmm.
No one on there was really producing for the show like it should. You had everything with the Vision happen, which they were on both shows majority of the time, and then everyone got hurt. One of the biggest things, though, we're gonna see Jade drop the belt to Rhea.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah, she has been the biggest disappointment, one of the biggest disappointments since she's gotten there.
That's not her fault. That's a Triple H thing. Triple H. Remember when we all used to say Triple H is such a great match booker. He did such a great job at NXT, and now he's just pulling Vince McMahon moves of like pushing people that you're like, okay, I'm ready for you to give them this opportunity, and then he just squanders everything and like abandons them. So I think Jade kind of got the shit end of the stick with Bianca going out and Naomi going out, and now they kind of like don't know what to do with her, but they also she's been built up to this like immovable force, especially with her time with AEW. So now you kind of have to do something with her, and making her drop the belt just to me further insinuous as they don't give a shit about her.
I mean, she's not entertaining. Like, let's be honest, she's an athletic freak. When she's in the ring, she can compete. But you give her a microphone and you want to put your headphones back on.
Because they don't I will say this.
Her mic skills aren't a
I'm
problem
not
for WWE. That's not a Triple H thing. That's a her thing.
Look, I want y'all to understand this. WWE is again like one of the most decorated, like probably the biggest monopoly in wrestling, right? I'm begging y'all. I'm begging y'all. I'm begging y'all. Please, 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 please. Stop putting people on the mic that you know are going to be terrible.
Stop hitting the table. Stop hitting the table. They built her up to be champion, and once she got there, whenever she grabbed a microphone, it was terrible. It's been
She's
terrible.
not the first. She's not the first that happened to. Remember when Roman was super bad in his early career, and we all were like, "Oh, this is terrible," and it took him years.
But this isn't early Jade. She's been on other companies. She's been on AEW. She's been in the indie side. Like, it's not like she's a rookie and WWE's she's fresh out of the warehouse. No, that's not the case.
But at the same time, you always still need training, and I hate that I'm saying this, but it seems like when they get to the main roster, all that training that they did before they get to the main roster just kind of goes away and they like don't give a shit anymore.
And
Let's move on. Let's move
no,
on.
because it's
Because
well,
I get frustrated talking about WWE when it comes to female wrestlers because they don't care about them. Like they genuinely do not care about female wrestlers.
this is
like at all.
this is the biggest female movement we've seen in pro wrestling ever.
Right? I know, right? And they still don't give a shit.
That's correct. They've main evented WrestleMania. They've gotten their own Rumble. They went to Saudi. They went to Saudi Arabia.
I don't even want to see them there.
And some of the biggest one of the biggest stars total in WWE is a female wrestler. So how do they not? How don't they give a shit?
David, they don't give a shit about
they push them down your throat.
Just now, maybe, but they still don't give a shit. Like, there's still so many things about female wrestling that, especially at WWE, that could be so much better. Like I said, you have Bayley on your roster. You have one of the best professional wrestlers on your roster. You don't care. You had Mercedes. You let her go. You almost let Naomi go, but somehow you were able to get her back.
The botch queen. That almost
you let Paige, you let Saraya go. You've let all these fantastic women who helped build this roster up to where we can kind of sort of get some leeway in. But even then, with the whole like,
Saraya was let go because she got R-rated R. Okay, and she and she almost broke her neck, or she did break her neck.
And we saw her in AEW, and we saw that she was able to recover. But
years and years later,
I'm just saying at this point, they still don't give a shit about female wrestling. David,
almost half of every show is female matches.
They still don't give a shit. I'm telling you,
they've main evented WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that took how long? And they haven't done it since
because it's not the Vince. Yeah. I mean, the product hasn't been as good since.
You made my point.
The product has, and it's not their fault when you're botching stuff in the ring and you can't put the string of moves together to keep people engaged. That's why they keep pushing people like Rhea, and they're pushing Tiffany Stratton and Liv Morgan, because at least when they speak on a mic, they can sell tickets. Where everyone else, they get into that ring and they blow everything up.
Like I said, they really don't give a shit about women's wrestling. Let's move on to the men's elimination chamber.
Mm-hmm.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching Logan Paul get his ass beat. That was my favorite part.
What's the hate with Logan Paul?
Logan Paul's a douchebag, man.
That's why I love him. That's why I love him.
He's literally a mega douche.
Every single sport, show, movie needs a villain. And Logan Paul is that perfect villain.
He's literally a piece of shit. Like,
see, the fact that you're saying that proves my point. People like you watch because they like to see him lose.
No,
and you're still watching. You're still watching.
I want to see him get his ass beat. Absolutely. Like I saw his brother get his ass beat. Yeah. Do you know how satisfying it was to watch Jake Paul get the shit rocked out of his? That was. I've never felt a euphoria.
First of all,
it was so great to watch Anthony Joshua just look at him and be like, "I'm about to rock your shit," and and his jaw was broken.
He moved
so
up to
beautiful.
He moved up to heavyweight and he gassed out. Look, do I think Jake Paul's a better boxer than Anthony Joshua? Absolutely not. But facts are facts, and the fact is that Jake Paul was winning almost every round before that knockout. Before he gassed out, he was outboxing him, which is insane.
I just want to say it was the greatest moment of my life to see Jake Paul get his shit rocked. And then to find out later on that not only did he get his shit rocked, but now he has to wear a lace front beard because his jaw is swollen from being broken. It's my favorite thing.
I don't understand the hatred. I don't understand the hatred. I don't understand.
Jake Paul is even worse than Logan. He's even worse. When I say,
I'm delusional. Watch the fight. Watch the punches landed. Watch the punches landed.
Seeing them just get their asses beat this year has been the best part of the year for me so far. Like, I genuinely enjoy watching those two idiots get the shit beat out of them.
Look, at the end of the day, the name of the game of boxing is to hit and not get hit. Whether people liked the beginning of the
And
fight
he
or
got
not,
his shit rocked and he
whether
got knocked out.
whether people like the fact, yeah, he after he gassed out, he was running around. A lot of fighters run. Floyd runs. And I'm not comparing him, but a lot of fighters play that long distance game.
And
So
he got his
people
shit rocked.
people like the bozos in the comments saying he gassed out for running for his life. Of course, he was moving up for cruiserweight to heavyweight, and he
got
was
his
outboxing him. He was hitting and not getting hit. They said they watched the fight, obviously not rewatch it.
David, I'm just glad that he got knocked out. So
No,
just like
he-
I'm
he
glad that
got knocked
Logan
out.
got his ass.
Look, I like Anthony Joshua. There's a reason Anthony Joshua retired instead of fighting the Usyks and the Wilders and the Furies. His last two fights, where he fought Ngannou and he fought Jake Paul. He fought an MMA guy and a YouTuber. Against any other top boxer, Anthony Joshua gets knocked out. He doesn't have the chin. So you fought a guy bringing up his resume. So
I'm just saying.
It is what it is.
I'm just saying, I enjoy watching them get the shit beat out of him, and I enjoy watching them get the shit beat out of him at Elimination Chamber. I don't know. Lately, WWE just like, because of the things I know, and because they're gonna push Brock Lesnar once again, which I don't fucking understand why you're pushing Brock Lesnar once again. Like Brock, like you know how everybody used to call Cena like the roster killer. Like anytime somebody needed to push,
Super Cena,
he would just kill it. That's how I feel about Brock. Anytime WWE, like in the last, like I'm gonna say like 10 years, has had any sort of momentum to where you're be like, yeah, like they have a good roster, they have some good storylines. They bring in Brock Lesnar, and it's like, God, like I hate you. Remember when Kofi had one of the most organic runs as champion, and then he beat Daniel Bryan at a WrestleMania, and then they brought in Brock, and then Brock beat him in like 5 minutes.
That's because the universe spoke. That wasn't a planned run. That wasn't part of the story.
Again, like, and then I mean, just like any time over the last 10 years, anytime they need to squash any sort of storyline, they're like, "Ooh, bring in Brock," and I'm like, they're gonna do it again. I'm kind of excited to see Randy Orton at WrestleMania against Drew McIntyre. Yes, against Drew McIntyre. I think Randy, building himself up to this career that he's had, to be the Viper and to be probably one of the most recognizable wrestlers in the game, is great. I just hope they do not, like, I hope they don't squash him.
I don't think so. After Elimination Chamber, I really think we're going to see a triple threat match between Randy, Cody, and Drew at WrestleMania.
That would be great.
I don't think I believe Friday we're going to have Cody versus Drew for the championship. So something's going to happen. Or maybe even a fatal four-way where we see the Samoan Werewolf join the match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a brain fire on what his name is right now.
Jacob Fatu.
We're going to see, I can see a fatal four-way. I think that'd be the most entertaining. I don't want to see Cody win it again. Drew McIntyre's title run honestly bores me to death. Every time I'm not a Drew fan. He just bores me. I think Jacob Fatu needs to win it, or at least give it to Randy Orton and start the rest of the year off with a feud between Fatu and the Viper.
I think it'd be good for them to give it to Jacob Fatu or Randy, because I think at this point we've seen what we've seen out of Drew. We know Drew can handle the attention. We know Cody is Cody. Cody's gonna do what Cody does. Cody doesn't really need WWE, and I don't really think he is going to get the title, only because he's going to be in the new Street Fighter that's coming out this year in the summertime. So him being champion and that press run is probably not going to be conducive.
Well, with that being said, do you think Roman wins the belt?
No.
Okay, because both of them are in that movie.
No. I think Roman is probably that's kind of like the the Cena stage. I remember when Cena started doing a lot more stuff in Hollywood, and he would come back every once in a while. I think Roman's kind of like making the transition to doing the same thing of like, he's on the main roster, but you're not really going to see a lot of him because he's trying to make that transition. He also has like 6 kids too, so
battles
I think
with
that
Kenny on and off.
absolutely. So I think he's more leaning probably into that Hollywood aspect. He's probably going to take that John Cena role of like, we see him when we see him. If we don't see him, he's just kind of there in the background. I think Cody is kind of also moving in that way, but Cody's still active and he still wants to wrestle. And I think if you're smart enough, you give it to Randy, who's there, who wants to be there, who can give you a little bit more prestige, especially after your run with Cena, or you make a bold choice and give it to Jacob Fatu, who is proving to be one of the best pickups.
He needs to have a belt. It needs to happen sooner than later. The other thing I want to backtrack a little bit to Brock Lesnar. Look, I know you hate him. I know you hate him.
It's just only because they don't know what to do with him.
This might be his swan song. You know, he might go in and just have Gunther retire him, just like he's done everyone else. And have him set out there. The reason I bring up Gunther too, because we saw a few weeks ago he retired AJ Styles. AJ Styles did say this was his last year wrestling, but I don't think he's done wrestling yet. I think we can see AJ Styles do some work with AEW because the other members of the Bullet Club are there. So you got to think who he wants his final year to end with. So why not go to AEW? Why not reunite with the Bullet Club? Go there for a couple months and then leave and finish off in TNA, and that's his final song. And I want to see him and Samoa Joe. That's the last match I want to see is Samoa Joe, AJ Styles.
Kind of give you a TNA throwback of when AJ was the AJ essentially made that show. We all know AJ made that show. Like that was his show.
X Division matches. The face that run the place.
He literally built it. Him and Perk Angle built it.
Yep. Good Perk old Angle. Look, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Got his autograph. That's neither here or there. The last thing I want to bring up about Elimination Chamber is the coffin. Did you see the coffin? Did you?
I know who came out of it. And I think if they're smart enough, they lean into it. But they're not smart enough to lean into it. They're not going to do it.
He didn't get the pop.
No, because a lot of people, if you don't watch wrestling and you don't really know a lot about Danhausen, you're not going to get it. And like that's the one bad thing about WWE is that WWE is so mainstream that like niche wrestlers are not going to work on that show.
Right.
Like what used to work in the past to be like, I'm an example. The Undertaker shtick used to work because it was a wrestling gimmick. Wrestling gimmicks don't work in modern WWE because modern WWE is trying to show that they are a sports entity. That is what they're trying to be. Shows like AEW, maybe TNA, maybe Ring of Honor, you can do the wrestling gimmicks because they're not like trying to be sports entertainment. They're not trying to be like, this is an athlete. And they can just happen to entertain you.
Yeah, we don't see AEW on Bleacher Report. We don't see them on the ESPN. We don't get those Sports Center for notifications like we do WWE.
Yeah. And so when they try to do wrestling gimmicks, it doesn't work because they've strayed so far away from it. So now when you're trying to lean back into it because Danhausen is a very big star, now it looks a little ridiculous because it's like, well, why are you doing this now? It's not going to be taken seriously. And I think wrestling gimmicks is what makes wrestling. Like again, like I said, the gimmicks of wrestling is what makes like Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake is a ridiculous character, like completely ridiculous, but it works because he was Razor Ramon, completely ridiculous character. Like all of these things that made WWE what it is today.
Mankind.
Dude
Love, Cactus Jack.
What's his name? Not MVP. No, MVP. Like Hell, even the Street Profits. The Street Profits have a wrestling gimmick. They
Mhm.
just have, but like they don't get as much push as they should.
Spirit
Um,
Squad.
Spirit Squad, uh, the what used to be the War Raiders, Viking Raiders, whatever they
Yeah,
are
yeah,
now.
the
That's a
White
gimmick.
Six. Yeah, the
Yeah,
White Six. All of that they come together and they make it entertaining. And we really seen a lot of the gimmicks underutilized. Hopefully, with Danhausen, with what he did to Dominic Mysterio, they start bringing more. Because on Monday, Dominic dropped the Intercontinental title after being cursed by Danhausen the Penta. So
that's that's a ridiculous gimmick, and
yeah,
it's fun.
yeah.
Like I want them to
Hopefully
have
they continue
fun.
with that. Hopefully they continue with that. Um, are there any other gimmicks that you'd want to see like returned to WWE?
I think they look the Wyatt Six gimmick is probably one of my favorite. I think it leans into not only the tribute of a person who passed away, but it also builds on the lore of something that already exists.
Right.
But you don't know what to do with it because, again, like I said, you're trying to be so sports forward that it's like you kind of are like, ah, this gimmick of this like supernatural group of people that exist. I think if you're smart enough, you lean into the gimmicks, you build it up to where the Wyatt Six will eventually go against Danhausen, and you make something of it. Like
So
again, that's the fun of wrestling. It's
do you
ridiculous.
do you think Danhausen builds his own faction to battle with the Wyatt Six?
I think it would be fun for him to do that. I think it would be so much fun for him to take part of the Judgment Day, curse them. They have to, become uncursed, so they join his faction. Like I think that would be funny as hell, and I think that would be incredibly ridiculous, and it's what they need.
I think that would be funny. I think the only person in the Judgment Day it would work with is Finn because you would curse
Because of the
Finn
demon.
and bring the demon. But I don't want to see that for Finn. I don't like what they've been doing with him.
Because I hate what they again, y'all. I love Finn Balor. I think Finn Balor is one of the best professional wrestlers. Finn Balor had all of the momentum, and Seth Rollins doing a running pile drive ruined every single part of his momentum.
No, I completely agree, and especially with his last match against CM Punk at Elimination Chamber, which it's like I get you want to put him on that championship pedigree, but don't do it to bury him. You got to give him
Yeah,
push. Don't send him back to the Judgment Day to sit in his sorrows because it doesn't make sense. Backtrack a little bit. If there was anyone else besides the Demon Finn and the Judgment Day that you would want to see Dan Helson curse and put in his faction, who would it be?
that's about it because there's no,
Well,
they really haven't done a lot. They're not really bringing back a lot of people. A lot of the wrestlers where the gimmicks would work aren't really on the roster anymore. So
I think
I'm just
you brought him up, the War Raiders.
yeah, the War Raiders
It would
maybe,
make sense.
but even then, that's one of those things where it's like that WWE truly does not know what to do with gimmick wrestlers. They
Mhm.
don't know what to do because they're so focused on we need to do a storyline. We need to do a storyline. No, give me a gimmick. I want to see a ridiculous person be on that stage. You know how ridiculous Mankind was, but he worked because he was ridiculous. The Undertaker. The Undertaker was the single most scariest wrestler of my entire childhood. I fully believe that that man was dead and came back to life because it worked.
It worked. What's all right? So I'll say my favorite gimmick moment, and then you say your favorite gimmick moment before we end the show.
Okay.
And it goes back to the Royal Rumble, and it is literally when Mankind entered the Royal Rumble as every single one of his gimmicks. The man had four entries, got eliminated, went back, re-entered, got eliminated, went back, changed, came back in. That is my personal favorite gimmick moment. What's yours?
Hmm. I think my favorite, it's always, I think it's because it was truly terrifying as a kid. It's when they ripped Kane's mask off and they were like, he's horribly disfigured. And it was just like he just has his eyes were crossed and that's it.
That's just how
And
he
then,
actually looks.
yeah, it was just like he's horribly disfigured. It was like, no, you're just calling this man ugly. Like just say he's ugly.
This man is so unbelievably ugly. We're gonna use his gimmick as being disfigured. Can you imagine? What's Kane? He's in politics, right?
He's a mayor in Tennessee.
He's the mayor of Tennessee. Can you imagine being a wrestling fan growing up and you have to have a debate against the Big Red Machine?
I would. Do you know what I would say? I was saying, and that's why when they ripped your mask off, all they did was call you ugly, and you got Lita pregnant, and you still fumbled the bag, and you killed her baby. Oh my god! When I tell you, WWE used to be hilarious in a way that it's like this is a ridiculous show, but. They just I need them to start leaning back into it because like AEW leans into it, especially with the Sting and Darby Allin and all of them. Like we know TNA does, we know Ring of Honor does, and we know of course the Indies does. I need them to start leaning back into stuff.
All right, before we end the show, and you talked a little bit about the Indies, and since we're talking about Kane, have you seen all of the Kane alternative personalities?
No.
So in the Indies, there's a bunch of different like colored canes. There's a white cane. Guess what the white cane's name is? Just take it.
Sugar?
No, it's cocaine. Like there's there's a bunch of different things.
Stupid.
I gotta send. There's blue cane. There's so many different personalities, but
because if you're smart enough and he's not, and it's not cocaine, it's sugar cane.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, but you know it's wrestling, so they got to go off the wall. Sugar cane's too easy, and they don't want to promote a cane that's sweet. There's nothing sweet about cane.
Yeah. So, you know what we did forget to talk about? We did forget to talk about the NBA. We talked about it. We can briefly talk about it.
Yeah, you can talk about it really quick.
We need to talk about the fact that Cade Cunningham might be MVP.
You think so?
Due to a technicality. So, do you know what the technicality is?
No.
So the NBA a couple years ago came up with a rule and put it in place that you must play at least 65 games in a season. And it was due to players being healthy scratches for load management and things like that. And so Adam Silver was like, hey, we're going to stop this because you can't have people coming to games and being like, I'm expecting to see LeBron James, but LeBron James is sitting. I'm expecting to see Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry, and they're sitting, but they're in these like smaller cities. But because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic have been hurt this year, the next person up who's had a better year is Cade Cunningham. And everybody's like, no. We cannot give him the MVP. Like, his team is doing good. Like, he's a good player, but he is not MVP caliber. But he might win it just because of a technicality.
I think some of that, too, is like a popularity contest. So if he gets snubbed just because it's Cade Cunningham, and to people like us, he's a household name. But all around the country, he's not a household name. So does the NBA risk losing money giving the MVP to Cade Cunningham? Those are the questions we have to ask ourselves.
It's not even just losing money. It's kind of, you would lose a lot of respect for that award because it's like you're giving it to someone who's not having the best statistical MVP year. Like, I know MVP is kind of one of those things where it's like, there are certain people who should probably win it every year because of their value to their team, but because it's a fatigue thing in the NBA, they only like we know LeBron should have more than 4 MVPs. Everybody knows that, right? Should have way more than 4, but because everybody was like, we're sick of LeBron MVP fatigue, we have to give it to other people. And I think that's kind of happening also with Jokic. We're getting Jokic MVP fatigue, so we kind of have to look at Shai and we had to look at Embiid, we
It
have to
gets
look at
tough.
these other people. Yeah. But in this situation, it's not that. It's just simply because of a technicality,
Melody.
because of a rule.
I remember when that rule was instated.
Yeah, because of like just that weird technicality. It's like, well, Cade Cunningham is having a good year, and it's like, but he's not MVP caliber.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't put him up there. I wouldn't put him in the echelons of your Giannis's, your Jokic's, your Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I wouldn't put him up there. I think they, in all reality, and I hate to say this because I do not like this team, but because of the great job that he's done this year and the fact that his team is still kind of in the mix, give it to Jaylen Brown.
No Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan, I love him, but I've seen him play this year. I would give it to Jaylen Brown. I would give it to Jaylen.
I hate the Celtics. I don't want to.
I hate him too.
The Celtics win MVP.
I wouldn't either. But if you're talking about someone who's having a really good year, who's having a dominant year, who you can still put as a he's been a Finals MVP before, and we know he's good, and you're not. Well, you will have people question him, but it wouldn't be like a Cade Cunningham where it's like, well, why are you giving this to Cade Cunningham? Like, just because his team is in the top? Like, with Jaylen, it wouldn't just be because his team is good. It's because, like, without Jason Tatum, the things that he's doing is MVP level.
Right. I would agree with that. But we're running up against it. We're going to double click on this. Our next show. We'll start the show continuing this conversation. Well, what's so funny?
Just look at Raul's comment. Look at his comment.
Oh man, the Carmen.
Yes.
Like we'll not that one. We'll show the people. All right, everybody. It's been real. It's been fun. Tune in next week to Mic Check Take 2, brought to you by the Inside Edge Network. Again, I am your host, the DAVID, the Real Ruiz, and I was with everyone's favorite season, Autumn.
Also, please don't forget, network sponsor, Alley Rose Fragrances. Use the code InsideEdge20 to get 20% off your order. Yes, also check me out on Wednesdays at Jersey Chasers here at 7:30 with my co-host Christy Acuity. We're trying to do some fun things. David, I know we're probably going to try to do some fun things. Maybe we can cross-pollinate soon of like having Christy on here, because Christy's a great football mind. She's amazing when it comes to Browns football, especially. Right. She knows her stuff. Okay,
that would be interesting.
Look. It would be.
We'll save it for next week. I got some words.
Oh, goodness.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch up with everyone later.
Peace.